Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 7 in the book of 2 Peter. We're going to do a reading from 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 9 through 16. I'm going to title today, They Do Not Tremble, because I think it's a good framework under which to understand the concepts that are in this section. The previous section talks about the kind of the good news. Hey, God's in the rescue business. He has been in the rescue business for a long time, going way back to Noah. Noah was a herald of righteousness, and he was brought safely through. And then in Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot was brought safely through. So the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials. That's the verse from 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. And without Jesus, you're going to be in trouble. There's two teams, and without Jesus, you're on the wrong team by definition. So without Jesus, are you going to successfully face judgment? Of course not. Have you never done anything wrong that's necessitating judgment? Of course not. And today we're going to find out about false teachers and, by extension, the false followers who are committing heresy and denying their masters and following sensuality and blaspheming and being full of greed and living in the lust of defiling passion, despising authority. And then most concerning, at least by my heart here today, is their boldness and the willfulness that they demonstrate. Summarized by the saying, they do not tremble, and they're going to blaspheme. There's going to be all kinds of activities. So the big lesson today is going to be from those on the wrong team. Subtitle today could be Truths from False Teachers, or those who are good examples of being bad examples. So what can we learn from those who do not tremble? Listen here to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. One verse about the good news. Then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to keep the unrighteous under punishment until the day of judgment, and especially those who indulge in the lust of defiling passion and despising authority. Bold and willful, they do not tremble as they blaspheme the glorious ones. Whereas angels, though greater in might and power, do not pronounce a blasphemous judgment against them before the Lord. But these, like irrational animals, creatures of instinct, born to be caught and destroyed, blaspheming about matters which they are ignorant, will also be destroyed in their destruction, suffering wrong as the wage for their wrongdoing. They count it pleasure to revel in the daytime. They are blots and blemishes, reveling in their deceptions, while they feast with you. They have eyes full of adultery, insatiable for sin. They entice the unsteady souls. They have hearts trained in greed, accursed children. Forsaking the right way, they have gone astray. They have followed the way of Balaam, the son of Beor, and loved gain from wrongdoing. But was rebuked for his own transgression. A speechless donkey spoke with human voice and restrained the prophet's madness. All right, so let's draw some conclusions here today. There's lots to learn from those who do not tremble. There's lots to learn from people that are doing it the bad way. One of the themes, continual themes, is passion. Everybody gets to wrestle with this. Everyone gets to wrestle with authority. So it's addressing the issue of sexual sin and the wrong teaching here. So not everybody gets to do sexually what they wish to do without harm. And this is coming from not trembling, not submitting to the thought. So the second point is humility of thought. So these folks are more ignorant, more unknowledgeable, and somehow it's resulting in boldness. So they're blaspheming about matters which they're ignorant. In fact, they're even reveling in it. They're in the church feast with this. So they're saying they're even compared to angels. They say, hey, angels are more powerful, and they don't even do this. We talked 2 weeks ago about running to the twin towers of humility and submission, and I think that's the alternative to this particular lesson. All right, so they do not tremble. That's my theme here for today, and we would do best to tremble a bit and act in a way where we're humble. What do I know? Hey, ask the question. What don't I know correctly? What aspect of my character do I need to figure out or refrain from? May my ignorance and unchecked passions bring me to trembling. May I be silenced of mouth and may be sorry for activity and have this posture of trembling before the Lord, as opposed to this bad group of false teachers that we're talking about, where they have their eyes full of adultery. May we have our eyes full of purity. They're insatiable for sin. May we be satisfied in God in our relationship and pleasing to Him. Then I was very concerned about this line about they entice unsteady souls. We need to be reputationally aware. And one of the things we need to be aware of is the weaker brother and demonstrate real brotherly love. And that is, here's the question is, are we helping to steady the unsteady? Are we trying to help the unsteady by being steadying for them? Last point of being discerning. Not everybody who feasts with us is one of us. So be careful in the church. We should be trembling and discerning. And if you're outside of the church, oh my goodness, you should be, terrified. So who's outside the church? Well, do you go every week that you're in town? Do you fellowship and experience the manifest presence of God? Do you think you can do it by popping in online every once in a while? Does your pastor know that he's responsible for you and accountable to you? Have you helped the unsteady in some sort of a service way? Does your budget know that you're in fellowship? So these are some thoughts and things that we can learn from those who are acting as a bad example, for those who don't tremble. So be concerned if you don't tremble before Him. I think that's a final point. He's given us an organization and accountability. He's given us His word and His truth. And I think a good conclusion for today as we look at this is let's tremble a bit before Him. And I think that's a safety measure for us. Then we'll be okay.